Session 12, The Pattern of This World and the Pattern of the Word. Welcome to Session 12. I am Rich Abbott, The Steward's Mind, Week 3, Session 2 of 5. Romans 12 verse 2 opens with a warning before it gives a direction. Do not conform to the pattern of this world. We spent Session 11 looking at how the mind changes, the mechanics of neuroplasticity, the role of attention, how pathways are built and strengthened. Today we look at what we're up against, what the pattern of this world actually is, particularly around money, and why it is so effective at shaping financial minds in a direction that produces exactly the opposite of what God intended for His stewards. Understanding the enemy of renewal is not pessimism. It is wisdom. You cannot guard the gate without knowing what is coming through it. Part 1. What syschematizo means. The Greek word Paul uses for conform is syschematizo. It means to be pressed into a mold, to take on the shape of an external pattern through sustained pressure over time. The image is of a mold and the material being formed by it. The mold does not ask permission. It does not announce its intentions. It simply applies consistent pressure, and the material over time takes its shape. This is what the pattern of the world does to the financial mind. It does not sit you down and say, here is what we want you to believe about money, about wealth, about your capacity to build, about what it is possible for someone with your background. It simply surrounds you with narrative, advertising, entertainment, news, social comparison, cultural assumption, and applies consistent pressure. And the mind over time takes its shape. The Greek is passive voice. You are being pressed. The action is happening to you. Paul is not describing a choice you make consciously. He is describing a process that happens whether you are paying attention or not, unless you actively resist it. Part 2. The world's pattern around money. What is the pattern of the world around money? Let me name it plainly. The world's financial pattern says, consume now, worry later. It says, your worth is measured by what you display. It says, debt is normal, scarcity is permanent, the system is rigged against you, the wealthy got there by luck or exploitation, financial security is for other people, and the most you can hope for is to get through the month. That pattern is delivered through 1,000 channels simultaneously. The advertising that creates desire for what you cannot afford, the entertainment that normalizes debt and financial chaos as the background condition of ordinary life, the news cycle that reinforces scarcity and economic anxiety as a permanent state of reality, the social comparison that measures your life against the curated display of others and finds you lacking. And then there is the religious version of the world's financial pattern, the one I was shaped by most powerfully. The version that says poverty is holy, that wanting more is selfish, that financial ambition is worldliness, that the faithful should live simply and trust God to provide, that building wealth is a distraction from what really matters. That version carries the weight of Scripture and tradition. It feels like wisdom, but it is still a pattern of the world, a human tradition shaped by cultural context and theological confusion, pressing the financial mind into a mold of limitation and calling it faithfulness. Paul says, Do not be syschematizo. Do not take the shape of that mold. Part 3. The word's pattern around money. The alternative pattern, the one Paul is pointing toward, is the pattern of the word. And the word's pattern around money is radically different from what most people who grew up in church were taught. The word says that God created human beings in his image, and God is a creator, a builder, a multiplier of good things. To bear his image is to carry the impulse to create, build, and multiply. Stewardship is not about managing scarcity. It is about participating in the creative, generative work of God in the world. The word says that diligent hands brings wealth, not luck, not exploitation, not waiting for a miracle. Diligence, applied consistently, producing increase over time. Proverbs 10 verse 4. The word says that God gives the ability to produce wealth, not as a reward for the spiritually elite, but as a built-in capacity of the human beings he made in his image. Deuteronomy 8:18. The word says that a good person leaves an inheritance for children's children. Proverbs 13 verse 22. Generational transfer, long view, multi-decade planning. This is not worldliness, this is the pattern of the word. The word says that wealth held with open hands, wealth built for the purpose of generosity, of provision, of kingdom impact, is not a spiritual problem. It is a spiritual calling. That is the mold you are choosing when you choose renewal over conformity. That is the pattern you are being pressed into, not by the world, but by sustained, deliberate immersion in what God actually says. Part 4, the daily battle. I want to be honest with you about what this looks like in daily life. The pattern of the world does not stop applying pressure because you choose renewal. The advertising still arrives. The financial anxiety narratives still dominate the news. The social comparison still happens. The theological confusion in some church environments persists. The battle is not won once and then over. It is won daily, in the choices you make about what you attend to, what you consume, what voices you let through the gate, what narratives you allow to repeat in your mind. This is why Paul's instruction in Romans 12 verse 2 is in the present continuous tense in the Greek. Be continuously transformed, not be transformed once and you're done. Be in the ongoing process of transformation by the ongoing process of renewal. This is a daily practice, a daily choosing, a daily decision about which mold you are allowing to press you. And every day you choose the pattern of the word over the pattern of the world, every day you attend to what is true, choose the declaration over the default thought, curate your environment toward voices that align with where God is taking you. You are resisting the syschematizo and cooperating with the metamorpho. Transformation from the inside out, structural, real. Part 5, Reflection. Today's reflection is a media audit, honest, not accusatory. For the next 24 hours, just notice, what financial narratives are arriving through your media consumption, your conversations, your environment. Notice which ones are reinforcing the pattern of the world and which ones, if any, are reinforcing the pattern of the word. You are not making dramatic changes today. You are developing awareness, because you cannot curate what you have not first noticed. Closing declaration, say this: I am not being pressed into the world's financial mold. I recognize the pattern of the world around money, and I choose a different pattern. The pattern of the Word says, I am a steward, a builder, an image bearer of a creative God. That is the mold I am being formed by, and every day I choose it, the formation goes deeper. This is Rich Abbott. Session 13 is next.